What's up, guys? Long time no see. I've been going through a lot of things lately, so I haven't really been uploading much, but I'm coming back now. You guys are about to see a lot more of me. That's all that matters. So I've got a pretty interesting test planned for today. Essentially, we're just gonna shoot this 3/4 inch steel plate with various 308 loads. So several years ago, I made a video called 8mm Mauser versus 1/2 inch steel. In this test, a soft point bullet went through the plate while an FMJ and even a steel core 8mm round didn't. I came to the conclusion that the FMJ and the steel core just were less hard materials than the steel plate, and the soft point just coincidentally impacted with more energy. My friend Carlo from Backyard Ballistics decided to put this to the test in his most recent video. So he compared the steel penetration between various types of bullets like soft points and full metal jackets. So I wanted to join him in the steel penetration testing. So my plan is to shoot my 3/4 inch steel plate just with different weight bullets at different velocities, all chambered in 308 of course. And here's the different rounds we're gonna use. From right to left, we got a 125 grain bullet. In the center, we've got a 150 grain full metal jacket. And on the left, we've got a 180 grain soft point bullet. And these are all 3 hand loads, loaded to muzzle velocities where they will impact the steel plate that I'll set at 100 yards with roughly the exact same amount of energy. So this test will tell us for certain whether or not it's velocity that makes the difference, or is it just impact energy. Because all of these will be hitting the steel plate with roughly the same energy, it's just going to be a lighter, faster versus a heavier, slower bullet. So today, with the help of Backyard Ballistics, we will further unlock the mysteries of steel penetration. Alright, first up we're going to try the 125 grain TNTs, our lightest, fastest bullet. Let's hope I can hit it because I got it sighted in for the 150 grain. I think I hit a little to the left. I'm gonna go take a look real quick, cause what? Okay, I think I know where to aim now. Yep, nailed it. And here's what the 125 grain TNT did. Wow, I'm actually surprised by that, guys. This was the fastest moving bullet, so we'll find out if that makes the biggest difference or not later on in the video. But you gotta keep in mind this is at 100 yards, and there's no way it's at a perfect angle either, because I just had to set this plate up and try and line it up by eye to where I'm shooting from 100 yards away. But still, I'm actually quite impressed by that. That's a pretty deep cavity there. Probably nearly a 1/2 inch in there. And we got a little bit of swelling on the backside. A little bit of the rust and everything chipped off there. Pretty cool. Now let's hit it with our medium weight, medium velocity bullet, the Hornady 150 grain FMJ. Since this one's moving a tad bit slower, it's probably gonna drop a little bit more. So I'll aim about 1 inch higher. Let's see if I can hit it on the first shot. Sure did. All right, so our 150 grain hit pretty far to the left side. That must be why it made it fly. So I think we should try that again and try to get a center hit. All right, we hit a little further to the edge than I would like with the 150. So let's try that one more time. Okay, that hit was even worse than the first one. Let's try one more time. Much better hit that time. Alright, we got pretty much a perfect dead center hit that time. That's where our 3 150s hit and our 125 TNT. It actually looks like the 125 is a little deeper. Alright, next up our 180 grain bullet. This one's moving a couple hundred feet per second slower than that 150, so it's probably going to hit just slightly lower. Let's see if we can nail this. Well, I hit it, but the plate got knocked down. That usually means I hit it kind of far to one side. Let's go check it out. Cool, it looks like we actually got a decent hit with the 180 on our first try. Right here. That time I was aiming about here, so we just hit about 4 to 6 inches low probably. And what do you know? The 180 seems to have even the least penetration of all. It seems like speed is the determining factor, because our 125 looks like it has the deepest crater, which impacted with the most velocity. Our 150 has the second deepest crater, which impacted with the second most velocity. And our 180 has the shallowest crater, which impacted with the least velocity. So pretty interesting. And you can even tell on the back. The 125 has the biggest bulge on the back, and the 180 has the least bulge on the back. You can see the 150 doesn't quite have as pronounced of a ring from the impact energy. So that's pretty cool, because they all did hit with roughly the same foot-pounds of energy, just different velocities. I've got one more thing to try real fast. Okay, I've got one more round to try just for fun. It's pretty obvious that the higher velocity has more penetration on steel, whether they have the same impact energy or not. But let's try an even slower, even heavier bullet than the 180 grain, just for fun, and see what happens. Let's see if we can't get it on our first try. Nailed her. Let's go check it out. And there's our 220 grain impact, which has even the shallowest crater of all. So the fastest bullet had the deepest crater, and the slowest had the least deep. I think we all pretty much kind of expected that, but it's cool just to find out for certain. So this just tells us for sure, if we have two bullets composed of the same material, copper and lead, and they both hit a steel plate with the same amount of muzzle energy, the one that's moving faster should penetrate deeper. Although you do got to keep in mind, usually the heavier bullets, even though they're slower at the muzzle, they have higher ballistic coefficients, so they do sail through the wind better, or they hold their velocity better downrange, meaning they don't slow down as fast. So technically, even though the lightest, fastest bullet put the biggest crater up close at only 100 yards, so technically the heavier bullets will penetrate through steel better at further ranges, because they will actually impact with higher velocity. And if we look on the back side, the 220 grain didn't even put a mark on the back. It's the only one that put no bulge whatsoever on the back. And look at how tiny that crater is too. So it's pretty obvious that until a projectile is made out of a material as hard, if not harder, than the steel plate you're shooting, the bullet construction will make little to no difference. And literally just the velocity and energy is what's going to determine the penetration in that steel plate. Now, if you guys haven't seen the video from Backyard Ballistics, make sure to go check it out and see if bullet construction makes a difference.